We are discussing the family of God, spiritual maturity, and the sanctity of marriage. There is a time in the life of every believer when they must move from being learners to becoming teachers, from becoming followers to becoming leaders in the things of God. Unfortunately, many remain spiritually immature, unable to discern between godly practices and worldly traditions. One of the areas where spiritual immaturity is evident is in marriage and its solemnization. Some believe once they marry traditionally, their marriage is valid before God, even if it is mixed with unbiblical practices. This mindset is wrong and must be corrected. Jesus gave us an example at the wedding in Canaan, a marriage rooted in faith in God, not a blend of believers and pagans. This teaches us that marriage as a sacred institution must be honored and set apart for God's glory. The family of God is our first family. Jesus declared in Luke 8 verse 21 that those who do the will of God are his true brothers and sisters. The family of God takes priority over biological relations because it is built on eternal values, not just earthly connections. This principle applies to marriage. The wedding at Canaan was a Jewish wedding, gathering of people who believed in God. It was not just a mixture of pagans and believers. It was a ceremony that honors God's covenant. The very presence of Jesus proves it was a God-centered marriage. Contrast it with many traditional African marriages today. Many of them misbelievers and unbelievers, Christian and idol worshippers come together in a confused blend, making it difficult to separate godliness from worldly customs. Some include pagan rituals such as pouring libations to ancestors, consulting diviners, and invoking spirits. In such setting, how can we say such marriage is holy before God? The Bible warns us in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. This is why marriage must be witnessed and solemnized by the church, where God's presence is honored. Paul commands in 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 40, let all things be done decently and in order. The church must uphold order, especially in matters of marriage, because disorder today will lead to confusion for future generations. If we allow unregulated or anyhow traditional marriages to define Christian unions, what kind of foundation are we laying for next generation? If we fail to differentiate between God-ordained marriage and the one filled with spiritual compromise, how can we expect our children to value Christian marriage? Jesus was present at Canaan, sanctifying the union. Who is present in today's marriage? And what do we witness in today's marriage? Is it Christ or influence of the world? As leaders, we must teach our members that marriage must be properly blessed by the church in the presence of godly witnesses, so that it is fully under God's covering. The writer of Hebrew rebukes believers for being spiritually immature when they should be teaching others. This lack of growth affects how people approach marriage. Some say once you marry traditionally, it is okay. That is false. A Christian marriage is not just a family event. It is a covenant before God. Marriage outside God's order is blemish, just like a sacrifice in the Old Testament had a defect. Malachi 1 verse 8. A believer's marriage must reflect God's divine order, not just culture. Where the intended couple cannot afford moderate church wedding, church blessing is recommended to sanctify their marriage. God bless you.